everyone, this is Cholera, and we're casting here Jaedong versus Stork, and by we, I mean myself, Kenny, and Ranshin, two new commentators at sc2g.com, of course, and we're casting Jaedong versus Stork from the OSL round of 8. This is game 1 of their best of 5, and I gotta say, these two players, I am definitely pumped up to see both of them. Stork has gone on a mini tear recently. I believe in the what was it again? In the OSL tiebreakers, he had to defeat Yellow Arnak in July in a total of 5 grueling games. He didn't play in all of them, of course, but he played in 3 of them, and he defeated 2 very top-notch Zergs. On the other hand, Jaedong, of course, has ripped his way through the OSL so far without really much hindrance, and I'm definitely thinking that this is going to be a great match. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I definitely got to agree with you, Cholera. Of course, it's Jaedong and Stork, so we got to expect a great match altogether. It being the round of 8 in the OSL, it's going a lot on the line. These players really have a lot to lose. They really want to go on into the round of 4. I mean, it's really a huge advancement if you can make it past that. Of course, like you mentioned before, both these players have really always been tearing through a lot of players. Stork has had his up and downs as well as Jaedong, but that's natural with all pro gamers. The map is going to be Return of the King, so it's going to be an interesting map to say the least, I'd have to say. But if I had to give someone the advantage in this game, I always tend to think that Jaedong's style counters a little bit to Stork, but I mean that's kind of you can't necessarily say one style counters any other style. Just Jaedong's very good, in my opinion, at deterring a lot of what Stork I see do, which is a lot of early game harassment against the Zerg, a lot of one base Protoss moving into like Jaedong's base and trying to do some damage there, and Jaedong's usually very good at deterring that. So I expect, if anything, Stork is going to have to win this in the late game. What do you think, Ranshin?
Well, if this goes on to a long game, I think both players will be in their comfort zone. Both players really like playing overall. Stork being a very good late game player. When he gets those storms going, where he gets all of his tech going, when he gets that macro going, he's really dominant. And Jaedong's going to have to do his best to disrupt the entire time. Jaedong, of course, being on a tear these days, playing insanely well. Stork has been kind of up and down. He's done overall pretty decently, but he hasn't been doing it as well for Samsung Khan as Jaedong has been doing for his new Hwasong Oz team. So overall, I don't really know how to call this, although I definitely give Jaedong the advantage, especially I think he's just got such a huge morale advantage. He must be feeling so good, even despite his early loss and exit of the MSL. I believe he's put that behind him now and just going on an absolute Zerg tear for the hive mind there. And I just really look forward to seeing what this game goes to go, and just really look forward to seeing these two players play.
Yeah, just taking a look at the statistics, not that they necessarily matter, but, Jaedong, 63% against Protoss. It's tied with his ZVT statistic, which is also 63%. Stork, on the other hand, looks like he is a little bit weaker against Zerg than his other matchups. 54% for PvZ versus 62 for PvP, and a whopping 67 for PvT. So, Stork, the thing is, I think about his PvZ is that if you watch those other games, he plays a very, I wouldn't say necessarily a standard game, but a very conventional game, which isn't bad by any means, because you have your strong conventional players and you have your strong unconventional players, and sometimes you have very weak unconventional players too. So there's nothing wrong with being a strong but conventional player, and I would call Stork that. He sticks to a lot of reaver play, I think, and I think that's actually quite good. There was an exception, of course, in the game they played on Tears of the Moon, and I do have to say, I'm not Stork probably isn't looking forward to playing Tears of the Moon in this best of 5, but I think he will have to one of these games. That is a cute booth girl. I was looking at this nice Team Liquid's thread with tons of pictures of booth girls earlier, and since this game isn't getting started, I guess that's all I have to talk about. Well, this map Return of the King also, I think, is a little bit Protoss favored looking at the statistics, and it's not as bad as Byzantium, but I think it's around 40-60 ZVP.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you on the booth girls there, man. I did notice one thing. I've been seeing the same one for quite a few matches. I think
Stork
maybe
got
that's
the better one.
Yeah, Stork definitely. I have to agree with you there. But I see her a lot, and I think that maybe she's like, I'm not sure if just this year she's like the permanent OSL booth girl or something like that, but that makes sense because they're doing a good job with that. But anyways, to go a little bit more into depth into the analysis of this game, before it does get started, as it does look like they're taking a bit of time, I actually have seen Stork play live, as I've mentioned a lot in the past. And one thing to note is Stork is so meticulous in the way that he studies before games. He really he's got like this mind that you can't even see really. You only see the surface of Stork, and he has a lot underlying that, and he really can come out with some crazy stuff. And like you were saying earlier, Cholera, is that there are good conventional players and unconventional players. And I think Stork does have a really good mix of those two when he needs to. He's a very good conventional player, I would say. Really, he's one of those players, kind of like an Hydra of the foreigners, if you want to say so. Even though Hydra is a professional now, he plays a lot less all-in builds and things like that, and a lot more. Let's get to late game and let's just see whose mechanics are better. But it does look like they might be starting the match here soon, so hopefully we can get going and see where this match goes, as it's been over 5 minutes already, I think, before they started the match. But hey, that's a good build-up to hopefully what should be an awesome match. I always love watching these two players, especially Jaedong. I have to say, Jaedong is just one of those players that I enjoy watching so much. I think we all do, just because he is one of the. I mean, I read an article on Jaedong, and he's basically one of these guys who just dedicated his life to StarCraft, like so many of these pros have to. And he said, and was talking about all the things he gave away and all he had to do to become a pro gamer, and it really put into perspective how much effort these guys go through to get to where they're at for this moment right here. So if anything, that has to be on these two players' minds at all times, because it does take a lot of dedication to get to where they're at, and really all the money they earn goes right to their teams most of the time. They do get to live with the teams, they do get to have free shelter and food and stuff like that, but their lives are very close, and it's a very hard lifestyle. So anyways, the game is kicking off, and we are going to start this up soon.
So yeah, game starting off right here. We're gonna get positions going first at the, I believe, 5 o'clock. Lower right hand, we're gonna have in yellow, we're gonna have Jaedong as, of course, the Zerg. And at the upper left, at 11 o'clock, we're gonna have Stork as, of course, the Protoss player in red. So that's that. Gonna be easy enough to spot these guys on the minimap. I'm very happy about that. Sometimes we get very bad colors like blue and teal on blue maps. Wonderful, but not the case here. So yeah, I believe actually OSL round of 8 is best of 3s, and not best of 5s. So Tears of Moon, I believe, is the third map. So this places Stork in the position of having to win the first two quickly. Because on Tears of the Moon, you're pretty much forced to go gateway first, and that's not really what you want to do these days. The Forge Fast Expand has become just such a standard thing, such an important part of the PvZ strategy that each Protoss goes, that just starts off as the building block for everything else you're going to do. And it's just going to be interesting overall what's going to happen here. Stork putting down the pylon.
Dino Toss.
Dino Toss fighting the Uber Jaedong attacking his town, or the other way around, I'm not quite sure what it would be. Godzilla Jaedong. So yeah, we're going to see the Forge Fast Expand, very standard. It's just going to be interesting to see what kind of strategy that Jaedong gonna go for, whether he's gonna go for some heavy Mutalisks, him of course being known for immensely insane Mutalisk micro. I've seen him come back from games that he should have lost like completely, but then he comes back with this minuscule chance at all of coming back, and he brings it back. So he actually does 12 hatch here, so we're gonna see an economic build from him, and it's just interesting to see where this is gonna lead. Both players setting out scouts now all over the place. Cholera, what do you think is gonna happen here for us soon?
Well, I mean, one point of divergence we're going to have to look for is whether Jaedong decides to double expand right now, pick up both of his naturals, and then play into that 5-hatch build. And I think that's quite a possibility. On the other hand, he could do what he's doing now. This is a non-standard build, by the way, putting down a gas after his spawning pool. And I got to think he's going to be going for a 2-hatch build here, most likely. 2-hatch Mutas is a possibility, or 2-hatch, Hydras. 2-hatch Hydra Lurker is a possibility. And there's really the unfortunate fact of it is that Stork has spotted this, and Stork is going to be much more vigilant, much more scared of Mutalisks, and he's going to go for cannons around his main nexus and all that. So you know, Jaedong, unfortunately, well, I mean, he really didn't have a choice. He kind of knew that he had to, you know, he had to do something perhaps not standard because this map is kind of difficult for Zerg. To double expand, you really, if you look at the other expansion location, it's at the 3 o'clock, and it's quite far away from your main base. It's quite difficult to hold. You really don't have one choke point to defend. You have two choke points, and speed lots can run by both of them really quickly. And of course, you don't want to go two base against two base for a long time. So, you know, there's really not a great option to double expand. Hence, Jaedong is going for a fast tech build. And I'm surprised he actually is not killing off the scouting probe. I guess he's going to just go and try to scare Stork into, I don't know, into building all the cannons he needs. You know, sometimes people go on the cheap and they don't build two cannons. And, you know, maybe he's going to try to just make sure he does. Looks like he's coming back, actually. And he's put his lair at his natural, though I got to think Stork knows it's coming.
Yeah, definitely. The kind of weird thing about Protoss versus Zerg is it can go in so many different ways. Right about where we're at now. So many different strategies can be unveiled. Really, with the way Jaedong is playing it, he could really split this into a lot of different things. As you mentioned before, Cholera, a common thing to do after this, besides the two-hatch Muta, obviously, is move into some of those early Hydras and then maybe a Lurker contain and try to take some decent portion of the map and really get your tech up and running and just take huge control of this game. It's a lot harder, obviously, at a professional level to keep those Lurker contains, but it is a great strategy overall to keep the opponent in your base and really take those expos unharmed, and that's really nice at this kind of level of play. One thing we do note is that we see Stork throwing up even more cannons, so I think Stork may be thinking something odd is going on here, like he's going to try to break his front, he's going to try to do something early because he did spot that, and we do see the Spire as we, a few moments ago there, and that does mean that we are going to see the two-hatch Mutalisks that we see from Jaedong, which are so deadly, man. They're beautiful Mutalisks, they really are crazy. It's one of my favorite things, as Ranshin was mentioning earlier. He just has the craziest Mutalisk micro, it's really fun to watch, but we do see Stork. He is going for, so far, looks like the Batoo build. I mean, we can't really tell yet, but he is getting those early Corsairs, which is so common in the early two-base build for Protoss versus Zerg. So really, I think this is going to come down to what does Jaedong do after he does this two-hatch Mutalisk, because two-hatch Mutalisk is usually a very I guess kind of all-in-ish, not really all-in-ish build, but it's very risky against Protoss, especially of this caliber. And we did see two more, it looked like two more hatcheries. I couldn't tell. I think it was two more hatcheries there. And so maybe he's going to just move this right into the normal build, which would be going for 5-hatch Hydra later on in the game. But we're just going to have to take a look and see how it unfolds.
So yeah, Jaedong has expanded at the 4 o'clock location, just a slightly late expand, and he has some Scourge out flying, getting more gas and adding 2 more hatcheries inside of his natural, so he is kind of going into a 5-hatch build, a little bit late, but this could be just the regular 5-hatch Hydra, although I don't think at this point he'll be able to break the front. I think Stork has had enough time to, and definitely will have enough time to get the front defendant going. It has his first Corsair now, should be able to kill the Overlord. Notice Jaedong snipes it with those Scourges, and those Scourges are going to be coming there, should be there in time. We're going to see Stork has to be prepared. Oh wow, Scourges fly just back. Corsair, oh, slight there. Interesting thing there. Should have been able to snipe it, but was a little bit careful with his Scourge. Now Can is being put everywhere in position. He knows that the Spire is up. He knows he should be ready for some Mutalisks, but I don't think they're going to be forthcoming. This looks more like a Hydra build, and it's going to Oro see what happens here. He's going to have some Scourge flying around, getting some scouts, trying to kill some Corsairs so he doesn't get his Overlords killed, which is so important because usually you lose an Overlord or two to those Corsairs. And a robotic support now up for Stork, so we are indeed going to see Reaver is going to possibly transition into Corsair Reaver. He has quite a few Corsairs, group them up together. We're going to see whether he gets weapons one for those Corsairs, and of course with that weapons on he's going to go around being able to kill everything in the air, going to be able to, with 5-6 Corsairs, kill almost any number of Scourge flying at him. And if he controls the air and manages to do a proper harassment, he will be able to take control of this game, because as has been mentioned, it's pretty hard to defend your bases with the way that they're set towards this natural, and Jaedong will need to eventually expand more, and that's going to put him into more danger if Storks finds himself successful with this build here.
Stork going for Sarah Reaver here. Sarah Reaver really his bread and butter, I think, against Zerg players, and it's a very powerful build on this map. Like I said, the two expansions kind of far away from each other. It's not like a destination where they're easy to hold. They're hard to hold, and we saw, interesting enough, Jaedong and Stork passing each other in the night, ships passing in the night here. Jaedong has gone to Stork with a bunch of lings, but I think this is going to be more powerful. This counterattack, this big attack from Stork with just 5 zealots, it's going to be a pretty powerful harassment tool here, and he is going to go for this 3 o'clock location. Like I said, he's going to go get some drones, although Jaedong looks like he's going to try to bring his Zerglings back to defend, and I think they should be, I think there should be enough lings here to kill off these zealots, actually. So Jaedong pulling back right on time, and Stork unable to do any damage. You know, the thing is, I found it interesting that Jaedong decided to go for, Stork doing no damage. Jaedong decided to go for a 2-hatch lair. I think perhaps it was sort of a head fake. He just wanted to scare Stork into building a couple extra cannons, make it seem like he was going to go for 2-hatch mutas, in which case he actually completely didn't. He just went for a fast lair followed by 3 more hatches, and now he is doing that 5-hatch Scourge Hydra build. Meanwhile, first Reaver out, and Stork is going to take that mineral only behind his base.
Yeah, and that was exactly what I was saying earlier about the style of play that Jaedong has that really deflects that early attack that Stork so loves to do. It was a little bit different from what I was talking about, but hold that thought here. We do see a lot of Corsairs and a shuttle coming, so a Reaver should be on the way, but we already have speed upgraded Hydralisks and Corsair, or I'm sorry, and Scourge coming over to the Expo, so I think Jaedong was going to play very defensive, just hope to hold all this off. He has a sunken colony and everything. He really needs to just deter this kind of harassment there. And a lot of Scourge going in for those Corsairs. Are they going to take him out? Looks like he's going to be able to get away just in time. That could have been really detrimental to this whole build. And this is a style that I've been seeing out of Jaedong a lot, is these burrowlings all over the place. It's so great
Look
for
at
this.
that.
It's
so
just
many.
an arc, and it covers everything, man. Yeah, Cholera, it's great. It just covers everything, and it's a great way to scout. It's really only 100 minerals and 100 gas. It's so worth it to get that burrow in this kind of a matchup. You get to free scout everything, and most Protoss don't even know that you're doing it. So sometimes you can even snipe the shuttles with the Reavers in them. It's just so useful. So I'd have to say Jaedong is playing this game beautifully so far. He seems like he's in a really comfortable position. Look, you can already see he's taking another expansion in the top right there. So he's really getting this economic build going from that kind of weird fake out 2-hatch lair build that it looked like he was doing in the beginning. So really impressive play out of Jaedong, but did we expect anything less from the Jaedong master himself?
Yep. So, all in all, very interesting build here from Jaedong. He's putting down some spore colonies, getting ready to defend, and of course with that burrow, he'll be able to defend his drones by burrowing them against those Reavers. And that's of course going to help him out. Not going to have to move him out of the way. High Templar now out for Stork, so he is transitioning to a slight of stronger ground army. A lot of Hydras down on the ground, along with Scourges in the air for Jaedong. So he might actually be thinking of breaking the front. He has quite a few forces there. We're going to see what it is that he tries to do. He's just camping outside a little bit, waiting. Also expanding at the 1 o'clock location, far right corner. 3 Reavers and lots of High Templar. They're ready to defend that front. So I don't think Jaedong, if he even tries, will be able to successfully positioning some Hydras as if he's getting ready for a drop. Just overall, just doing a perfect surround. Also trying to catch some, of course. That, of course, is to catch the shuttle rather than drop. I must. It's 3 a.m. in the morning here. I apologize. So, for my retardation. So, yeah, all those. Oh man, shuttle and Corsair flying over the place. The Zerglings spotting them. Some Overlords in danger. But overall, and now Jaedong actually thinking of pushing forward, pushing a little bit down the ramp with a few Hydras. Overall, just trying to keep Stork contained. There are some Reavers there to defend. High Templar just waiting for some energy. Stork flying around, trying to do as much harassment as he can. Some Corsairs there dying, but Jaedong doing a perfect scanning. He knows at all times what it is that Stork's going to do, so he's just keeping absolute control of this match, make sure he knows everything, and if he keeps this going, he'll be able to scout everything out and just know exactly what Stork is doing. Again now, some Corsairs engage some Scourge, but Scourge not being too successful there. Oh, one Corsair does go down, though. So nice catch there by Jaedong. I'm going to see where there was a lot of Overlords there in one position trying to defend that, and we're going to see here some Hydras pop up. We're going to see High Templars are going to in fact storm drop. Oh, but wonderful move there. Another storm going off on some of the Hydras, but wonderful move overall by Jaedong, moving those drones away just in time. Another shuttle is going to run by again. Some Hydras ready there, not popping out, and now again going to take shots. The shuttle is going to go down. Oh. And oh man, oh no, not too much harassment done by Stork, and he is now a little bit behind here.
Oh, he's definitely behind. I mean, Stork has not been able to pick up his third yet. He's not even close to being able to. He's got some speed lots. He's still waiting for his +1 attack, and he has a small force there. But fact of the matter is, Stork is hugely behind. Jaedong has a gigantic army of Hydras. He's got perfect intelligence. He's playing almost like a Terran player, actually. It's almost feeling like a TVT here. He's got, you know, all those Zerglings there in a sort of contained position, especially when he was playing before, when he had those Hydras in a contained position around. Beautiful, beautiful air contain. I remember there was this big TVT on this map where one of the Terrans, I think it was 4GG or Mind, just built a complete Great Wall of China of turrets around the other guy's main base, and the guy just couldn't move out, turrets and tanks. Jaedong has sort of done it in a Zerg fashion here. +1 attack done for Stork. +1 air, by the way, and +1 air armor for Jaedong. I don't know if you caught that. +1 armor for Jaedong also, so that +1 air, sorry, +1 attack on both air and ground is completely mitigated. And Jaedong now with lurkers. Jaedong transitioning tech left and right, and I'm not sure if there's many observers or any observers out for Stork. Stork is thinking about picking up that expansion, but you know, if Jaedong knows this is coming, which I gotta assume he does, he's gonna try to take it out immediately.
Yeah, and it looks like a huge army for Jaedong, but I gotta say,
Oh my
God, Scourge owning those Corsairs there, man, that's detrimental to this build. It really does suck when the Protoss loses all those Corsairs, because they really try to use those all game to take out Overlords, do all sorts of harassment, and of course to kind of chauffeur those shuttles into the base. And now we see a large army of Jaedong starting to get together, lurkers, hydras, lings, and they're moving up right now, and we do see a lot of storms and reaver scarabs going off. Looks like Jaedong's going to try to make a move, but this might be bad. This might get him back into the game. I think this is what Stork was looking for, and he completely rolls over that army of Jaedong, and I think that was a bad time for Jaedong to engage on that kind of ground with half of his army, and that really could have put Stork back into the game. And I think Jaedong's going to have to go back into defensive mode here for a while if he wants to make sure that he can basically keep this lead he had and not let it all get thrown away. It looks like he's just trying to keep the high ground on these ramps, kill the observers.
Sniping observers.
Yeah, very good sniping of the observers, and he's able to hold that high ground with the lurkers. So Jaedong still playing pretty impressively, but Stork able to get his third up finally, which is huge, and he'll be able to really keep these this macro of his going, and it looks like he's made the transition completely over to ground units. The normal couple, he lost a lot of Corsairs, so he only has a couple left, but he has the Corsairs, and of course he has the Zealots mixed with the High Templars and Dragoons. So really I think we're going to see a pretty standard game here on out, maybe Hive Tech coming in shortly for Jaedong to be able to counter the large unit numbers and high tech of Stork.
Yeah, Jaedong has already picked up his Hive and getting down his Defiler Man, so we're going to see cracklings very soon, if not already there. And this is where Stork is at his best, this overall army control, not just macro, but overall army control. He's just so good at it. He gets his storms off at the correct places. It's like he borrows storms from Jangbi every once in a while. Having him as a training partner can't be bad. And Jaedong really has to replenish his army with enough expansions and enough hatcheries. He definitely can do that. Not quite as fast as Stork. So Stork has to keep that one army alive, because if he gets completely surrounded and, you know, crushed, he's going to be in some huge trouble. He has a large army, though. A lot of Zealots, a lot of Dragoons, a lot of Templar, Reavers in the shuttle. And another engagement here. Jaedong just pushing away. Some Overlords flying over. They're going to get sniped. So Stork now has established his third. That's going to help him out. He has 3 gas expansion, 1 mineral only established. This is going to help him get back into this game. He's going to have to get a bunch of more gateways. Just continue producing troops, flying around, just controlling this huge army. Jaedong again now moving up, trying to position himself properly so he can try to do harass. But Stork, wisely not walking into that, knows that he has to control the positioning. Nidus Canal's there, and Stork has moved in with quite a few speed lots.
Wow.
Killed the Nidus Canal, moving in there, nothing but a few Sunkens that are protecting that. So you can be able to another engagement here. Jaedong's engaged, nice storms going off. Oh, Reaver's being picked up with the shell before they can get sniped, and Jaedong now in a little bit of trouble here. It's showing him harassing that expansion there at the 1 o'clock, so that's going to be in trouble. Might actually go down if he doesn't protect the zone. More storms going off everywhere by Stork, doing perfect job. So much red blood everywhere. Speedwings trying to run in. They're all going to get crushed as well. Wonderful storms, killing everything but his own troops, instantly morphing into Archons. This 1 o'clock position is in fact going to go down, nothing to support this. And also now troops moving in into the natural, into one of the naturals here of Jaedong. Storms going off on all the drones, and oh my god, Jaedong, so much damage done, everything dying there. These troops, Jaedong, so much trouble, a complete turnaround here.
Wow, this is absolutely insane. I did not expect any kind of performance this good against Jaedong. I mean, obviously I don't want to spoil too much, but you really should check out the play between Bisu and Jaedong recently. Either in the actually we did do a game in the Pro League which Bisu won, and then of course the special match in the GOM TV. But hold that thought, Jaedong is going to clean up here. It seems finally Stork's reign of terror in through Jaedong's expansions is going to end here at the 3 o'clock. It seems Jaedong looks like wow, Jaedong finally killing off the Dragoons, but the Zealots are still alive and still just running around causing havoc inside of Jaedong's forces, and Jaedong now is 3 base against 3 base, and this is not a good position for him to be, to say the least. Stork right now with a significant lead here, and what a turnaround. I gotta say, Stork playing patiently, waiting until he had the High Templar, not going for some kind of all-in move when he wasn't ready. And when he pushed out, he was able to break through. I mean, I was actually very surprised. Jaedong was on the cusp of a tech change into Defilers, but he didn't have Swarm ready, so he couldn't deal with that large Dragoon force there and a Dragoon Archon force. And, very powerful play from Stork. Really, at this point, I think it's anyone's game, but Jaedong has a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, I almost 100% have to agree with you there. We do see a Plague going off, so he has Research Plague, which is going to help him whittle down those large army numbers, but man, 3 base versus 3 base is not good. We do see Jaedong throwing up one more expansion in the kind of upper right area there, so if he can secure maybe 1-2 more expos and get back into this game with that higher level attack, I think he's still in this game just fine here. As you can see, Stork's army is pretty large, but I mean, a lot of it is plagued. It's a lot of zealots, and if you can get a lot of those mixture of high-level tech units there for Zerg, it's really powerful. And as you can see,
Observers! The Ob's going down.
A bunch of Obs, so it looks like he's going to still try to defend with Lurkers, which is a really great idea. I don't see a lot of Lurkers out yet, but I assume that's what he's trying to do. And I don't see any mining at the main there. I don't know what's going on there. There still was minerals, so maybe some sort of drop that they didn't show on camera. So that'd be huge as well. And one thing to mention is, actually, Stork has been on 4 base the whole time. I forgot to mention, he did take that that mineral only in the back left of his base, so he has been producing a little bit more than we probably expected, but it looks like Jaedong's going to try to just play defensively here, get those expos up again, and reset this battle, and try to win this with those higher tech units, and I think he's going to be able to do it if he just is able to hold off a little bit longer.
Yeah, we're going to see overall how he holds this. Stork now getting another expansion going. He has been mining for so long. He can continue reinforcing this army, and a lot of his army is very zealot heavy, and that's going to help him against the Dark Swarm, of course, but the Plague is not going to be very friendly to him there. Defiler now going to retreat some. Stork just has to play a positioning game here. He has to make sure that if there are any battles that go off close to the middle, he has to control where those happen, because if you allow the Zerg to maneuver themselves into position, it could be in huge trouble. He has a lot of Archons there that are going to help him out, along a crap load of Zealots and some High Templar alongside. You're going to need those storms.
Defiler crackling break here.
Oh boy, going to be a break here by Jaedong. Going to see, well, there's a lot of cannons in location there, but there are should be able to take out the Nexus because there's Dark Swarm everywhere, and we're going to see overall what happens here. Jaedong, Stork trying to reinforce. All the cannons are going down. Krakens are going to surround the Nexus. We're going to see what happens. There's some cannons still firing on those Zergis. Oh, we're going to happen. Nothing going on. Zerg. Oh, Nexus actually goes down, and that's going to be detrimental.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I've been waiting for all game. When you get the early Hive Tech, you want to get Defiler Crackling combo going. That's so good against for sniping new expansions. I mean, that Nexus just got eaten by those Zerglings, despite all those lots attacking them. In fact, even at the very end, they didn't even have a Swarm protecting them, but they're very upgraded. I haven't really gotten a chance to look at the upgrades. They're probably around 3-3, close to 3-3 for both now. This entire time, Jaedong has been way down on the food count. It was 80 to 150 at a point. Now he's up to 113, though. He's gotten a 4th gas up, but so is Stork briefly there. I mean, the thing is, this is keeping Jaedong in the game. That move right there single-handedly, kept Jaedong in the game. If Stork had gotten this expansion up when he did originally, he'd be almost unstoppable. Looks like, actually, no armor upgrades for Stork yet. Okay, just now we see +1 armor, +3 attack, so he's going to go for that standard teching pattern. We're probably going to see 2-2, probably 3-3 for Stork for Jaedong pretty soon, so Jaedong's going to be balanced out here, and if Jaedong can just hold on for a little longer, pick up another expo, he can go for switch away from Lurkers and into Ultras. Ultra Ling Defiler is very powerful. However, And the fact of the matter is, Stork, if Stork can keep that core of Archons alive, that's just going to be impossible to break, because in the very late game, if it gets to it, when it starts getting mined out, then those Archons are so durable, so reusable, and so far he's just collecting them and collecting them.
Yeah, and a huge engagement coming in here, and it looks like some Dark Swarms going up, so it looks like Stork's going to have to back up a little bit, and some Observer Snipes coming in, so he may be able to hold this off. Yes, there's no Observers, so beautiful splits there by Jaedong. He's so great at those, man, and like you were saying earlier, Cholera, is when you get to that massive amount of Archons, it just becomes so difficult to deal with. It's almost impossible, even with Ultralisks and Cracklings at the end. It's just so hard to break, man, so he's going to have to try to whittle those numbers down somehow, and it looks like he's starting to get a little bit offensive here, starting to push Stork back and show that he's not scared of this army he has. And again, I think we're going to see another snipe and a little cute drop here in the back. I think Stork's going to see it just in time, but if he doesn't, then he's going to be able to snipe that Nexus, and a Reaver drop coming in here now, and so some late game harassment coming from both sides, and I think that we're going to be able to clean this up just fine for Jaedong. I don't know if he's going to attack over that other Nexus. He's kind of chilling out, making sure he keeps his macro going and defends those expos before he does it. I don't know if he was aware, and yes, he was aware that this is coming, and a whole army was there awaiting him, so that sucks that Jaedong didn't get that off just a little bit earlier. I think if he would have just dropped and went for it, he would have had a good chance at getting that, but still, all the same, he did take out a few Zealots. He did show that he's putting the pressure there, and the shuttle going down, so that's very nice. So not a lot of harassment can now go on for Stork in terms of dropping Reavers, etc., until he builds another one. So it looks like Jaedong's holding on a little bit here. If he can take maybe one more expo, because he is running out of money at his natural expansion, he'll be in a good position. But damn, that is a lot and a lot of upgraded Archons, man.
Scary to look at, man. Just masses of pure energy that are gonna go and kill your Zerglings. And Jaedong has mined out in so many bases now. He's just got to be real, and he needs some economy, needs to do some damage. He's been trying to play a very good harassing game, but it's just not working out for him at this point. Stork is just huge, massive army. He just needs to get his obs going. He needs to make sure they don't get snapped. Another little engagement here. This Archon is still going to push back all those forces. He's got a bunch of Zealots as well alongside some plays going off. But Stork has established such a huge economic advantage at this point. I'm not really sure. Jaedong is pulling back. He has some mining at the 2 o'clock location. He says some little bit of mining at the 4 o'clock. Alongside that, nothing really. He has an Ultralisk camera now, but I'm not really sure how he's going to support. He's taking his middle only. Been forced to take that, actually. Another shuttle. High Templar drops. Jaedong doing a good job moving away, so they're not too successful. But, you know, whatever a little bit counts. Stork losing his forces here, but overall, just trying to harass as much as he can, because he knows if he can just continue starving Jaedong, he'll be in a huge advantage. He can just continue building up an army, just stick to where he's at. Some random Zealot looking for an expansion, not finding it and getting killed, so that's more important information for Stork. Stork has even more than one contingent of forces at this point. He can just continue holding that, getting a lot of High Templar, a bunch of gateways everywhere, and if he continues harassing and just keeping Jaedong boxed in, I think he'll just steamroll him very soon.
Cholera, would you like to say anything about that?
Yeah, sorry. I had myself on mute. Oh, a Dark Archon here. The only thing Stork needs in the middle of his army right now is a couple of Reavers, and it'll be just invulnerable. And as we're seeing here, oh man, a feedback! I don't know if you guys caught that. It was a feedback on the Defiler, and this army is getting nigh on impossible for Jaedong to deal with. I remember Jaedong versus Free played a few months ago in the, I believe it was the MSL last season, ended up sort of similarly. Jaedong lost in this huge epic game on Athena because Free eventually got this combination that we're seeing right here, the endgame Protoss, and man, looks like a Dark Archon gets sniped though, so no more feedbacks for Stork, but Storms aplenty for Stork. Jaedong getting some plagues, but they're useless. It looks pretty to plague those Archons, but obviously it's useless, and at this point, you know, I'm surprised that Jaedong's managed to keep himself alive up to here, but he's hugely behind, and you know, the thing is, if Stork can just keep his observers alive a little better, he could have won this game about 20 minutes ago, but same as in that game against Yellow Arnak in the OSL tiebreakers, he seems to have a problem with keeping his observers alive, which is a big problem against a Zerg player when they go lurkers. But anyway, so Jaedong trying to pick up his 3rd effective base at the upper right. He really, actually, it's only his 2nd effective base because his 3 is now mined out. Stork kind of at at 1 or 2 effective bases, and you know, this is going to definitely be in an advantageous position for Stork. Stork, I mean, almost maxed out, and just so hard to deal with this many Archons.
Yeah, definitely. That's really, this is a horrible position to be in as Zerg. But one thing to note is that Stork is mined out in all 3 of his top positions. He's down to 2 base. So really, if Jaedong can just play defensively and take these expansions, deny Stork his expansions, he's still in this game. I definitely would not count him out at all. We see a lot of shuttles coming out now, so it looks like a lot of harassment. And as you can see, Archon numbers are being whittled down slowly but surely. Stork gets a little bit careless here and there, and he'll lose a couple Archons. And Jaedong really had a lot of gas, and I think maybe, I'm not sure exactly what he's going to try to go for, if he's going to try to maybe move over to just Lurker, Crackling, Defiler, Hydras, just try to whittle down those numbers. I don't know what he's exactly trying to do right now, but I did see his gas up at around 1,500 a little while ago, and now it's down near 500, so I don't know what he's trying to utilize that gas with. And it looks like he's going to try to defend this expansion. He does have Lurkers there. There's no Observers, so I think he'll be just fine, but I think he's going to go for the snipe. Is he going to be able to get that expansion? I think he's going to be able to, and that's going to really suck for Jaedong, because he really could have used that. That was the expansion I was talking about the whole time, hoping he could get that up and running. But he is managing to defend little army by little army, and I mean, again, if he can just get this up and running, he still might have a chance. So really, we just need to see if he can hold off this little bit next like 5 minutes or so, deny these expos like he's doing so well right now, and he could get back in this game and take this one right out from under Stork's nose, man.
Of course, you can never count Jaedong out. He's just that kind of player that can come in from behind. But still, despite that, I'm not sure how Jaedong's going to come back, and they see lost that 1 o'clock expansion when he needed it so badly. Now trying to get the middle only there as well and try to reestablish the 1 o'clock base. He's denied a base from Stork. Stork now doing again, wow, storming almost all the drones. Jaedong not running the way. Wow, that was... This is what Stork is doing. He just has so many forces, has so much economy going compared to Jaedong. He can spare forces. Okay, some forces dies, but okay, if they do some sort of damage, if they manage to do something, that's it. And now again, he has this huge force of Zealots and Archons. Some Ultras now out for Jaedong, pretty heavily upgraded. But I'm not really sure how he's going to manage to engage. Some Lurkers again there, going to be able to engage some of these Zealots that try to run in to kill the Defilers. That's going to work out for him. And Jaedong is doing a pretty good job of keeping Stork away from actually finishing him off. Observers now again, we're going to see whether Jaedong manages to snipe him again. More Overlords running towards that just to make sure that's going to happen. Oh man, Jaedong in so much trouble here. Stork going to move in here. Jaedong, fortunately with all of his ultras, is going to need to get himself into a proper position where he can possibly counterattack. Has some Lurkers then in position. Has not again a drop. Wow, High Templar again trying to drop this time. Jaedong doing a pretty good job of preventing. But all of this is of course disrupting his economy. And at this point, I think Stork can afford to lose a few High Templar if it even just for 5 to 10 to 15 seconds even disrupts Jaedong's mining pattern. And I think at this point that's all he needs, because he has so much army, everything, Reavers, Archons, Zealots, and Jaedong will need to do something spectacular to come back in this. I'm just seeing such an uphill battle overall.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the only thing right now he can do right now is try to pick off that 9, and he's been quite a while in doing that drop. I feel like he should have done that drop earlier. I don't know where it's happening. I mean, obviously, he can't focus on it right now because he's getting attacked in the middle. He has to focus on these swarms and on these ultras, but the ultras are going down, and the ultras aren't even fully upgraded. They have +5 armor, but I don't think they have speed yet, and yeah, they're just crawling away right now. Not good. It looks like Jaedong trying to squeeze in from behind. There's only one observer like usual, and Jaedong's just trying to do the best he can here, but now there's at least one Reaver in the midst of that. The Reavers are going to just be so powerful here, and finally Jaedong moving. I mean, this drop has been delayed forever here, and you know, the last time he should have moved quicker. This time he should be moving quicker also. You know, I understand, you know, the third resource, as they say, is concentration, and Jaedong has been just constantly losing on that resource also this entire game. He hasn't been able to just multitask because Stork is making him do too many tasks, even for the great Jaedong. And now it looks like it's over. Stork just walking into Jaedong's natural here.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Jaedong almost held on there, but this massive death ball of Archons and Zealots and Reavers and everything, man, that just gets so hard for any Zerg player to deal with. The harassment was really great all around for Stork, and like you said, Cholera, he really didn't take, he wasn't fast enough in taking
Observer
out
dying
expansion. And Yeah, taking out that last observer is kind of a little last bit of humor, but this is over. Jaedong is out of this game. I don't know why he hasn't GG'd yet. He's probably just kind of going through his head thinking, man, what did I do? How did I let this slip? I was doing so well in the beginning. But Stork, man, he came out swinging, and I think we
GG.
see a GG there. So great game overall, and it was great casting with both of you. I think that Jaedong was just maybe a little bit antsy in that first attack, and it set him behind. I think that really was kind of the knife in his heart to start the game, at least.
I must say this is a very surprising start. I expected Jaedong to have a huge advantage, and the guy looks a little bit dejected. It's not surprised at all. So Stork might actually do it. If he gets the second game, he'll get out of here, and you'll be in the semifinals. And that's what you got to do, because you do not want to face Jaedong in Tears of the Moon. If he manages to beat Jaedong in the second game, he will be in a huge amount of luck, because that's, well, and it will be very disappointing to see Jaedong get kicked out. I've already seen him get kicked out of the MSL. That was sad enough. Seeing him kicked out of this one, despite I think him and Bisu are the favorites, and I really don't want to see him go away this soon, but I would not begrudge Stork win. So overall, awesome game by both guys. Stork obviously coming up on top, doing a just overall awesome standard game, just showed his magnificent army control, which is where he does his best work, I believe, and just trouncing Jaedong, unfortunately. So Jaedong's going to have to pull out all the stops to win the second game and possibly move it on to Tears of the Moon, where he has a chance of moving on to the semifinals. Your thoughts, Cholera?
Well, one last thought I would like to give is just, I know a lot of people who are watching are going to end up saying, well, late game ZBP is kind of imba. How are you supposed to deal with the Protoss, Archon, High Templar, Zealot, Dragoon, and Reaver combination? Well, the answer is you're not. You're supposed to lose if you allow the Protoss ever to establish that much gas. I mean, Jaedong this game was unable to stop Stork from expanding, and that was the critical thing. Stork didn't expand quickly in the beginning, but when he did, he held all of his expos, only losing them temporarily, and you're not supposed to be able to beat that army at the end. You gotta just never let that happen. It's like, what do you do against 20 battlecruisers if you're Zerg? Nothing, because you're not supposed to let the opponent get there, but Stork got there, and that's all he needed, and Jaedong unable to fight it off. Tough loss for him, but we're going to see some more sets here from the OSL. And thanks for casting with me, Ranshin and Kenny, signing out here.
Thanks, guys.